Hello again guys, and welcome to another video. Today we're going to be looking at this MSI. This is the RTX 3090 Ti Suprim, and the customer sent us a note of this saying that the card is actually not initializing. It just beeps when he plugs it in, which is very typical for a card running GDDR6X memory, as we've discussed in our previous videos. And this one is rather typical, so I'm not sure if you'll be able to see that. The card is bent, severely bent. So what happens here is I can see the seal has been broken. He's opened the card, most likely replaced the thermal pads. Maybe it was due to overheating, I'm not sure. And he's reassembled it. The new pads have been too thick, and it's put some pressure along the slot here, and the board is now bent outward. So this causes a disconnect on module A1. Sometimes it drips pads under the core. We'll get it on test now and see if we can find out what's going on. Okay, so the same as every other card, what we want to do is just run a few measurements, reach out what we can on this. It's just before we plug it in to make sure. So in resistance mode now, set that where you can see it, and I'm checking the 12 volts from the PCIe slot, which is good. 3.3 volts, which is good. Switching to diode mode, checking the first data pair, first line and second line, and those are good. Okay, checking the external 12 volts, good. Right, let's see if we can reach out a memory rail. We should be able to. There's a 1.8 volt rail, which is good. And looking for memory, let's try this one. Nope, that's not memory, that's VCore. What about this one? No, I can't reach that. Okay, so let's see if I can reach any of these. Not good. Right, try to be a little more precise with this. .58 ohms. That seems a little low for memory, but as long as it's not zero, that means we're good to go. So we should be able to plug this in now and at least run a memory test, if the card even powers on, is the question. So according to our results right here, we're looking at A, B, C, D, E, F. F0 is actually our problem. Again, this is not uncommon. Just F0. Okay, so yep, that's pretty fine. Let's just shut that down. Alright, so here we have our board now, and what we're looking at, well, I'll actually count them with you. So here is our top corner. This is pin number 1. So starting on the opposite side, we have A1, A0, B1, B0, C1, C0, D1, D0, E1, E0, F1, and F0. So with cards that get bent, it's very commonly happens on F0, A1, and under this right hand side of the core right here, which disconnects sometimes on this clock. So this is all fine. What I'm going to do now is lift this module up. I want to see if there's any physical damage under there. If there's no physical damage, then we might be looking at a core reball. While I'm at it, I might be able to show you that. I'm not sure which is the best way to do this. As you can see the bend in the card. It's actually bent downward, so this back end is pushed down, and there's actually a hump here. So yeah, we'll get that off now and we'll take a look. Right, so I'm about to turn on my IR preheating plate. I get a couple of questions about what this is all the time. It's a T8280, and again it's been modified. Everything of mine is modified, and I've removed one of the plates, so when I'm actually using this, the back plate doesn't heat up, only the front one. I only need one. There's no need to run the back plate. It's just a waste of power. Oh, sorry, just to add before I turn this on again, this really messes with my mic, so I'm going to turn it on and I'm going to do the work, and I might just do a audio over, like a soundtrack or something. I've done it in the past, and I only do that because the noise of this machine really tears my ears a new one. Right, so from hard lessons learned, always put a strip of tape over the PCIe slot when you're working with any soldering, memory modules. As soon as you're working with any components you're lifting off the board. I have done it in the past. We have dropped a module onto the PCIe slot, and it ended up dropping solder onto those gold pins. It doesn't affect the function of them, but it looks absolutely awful. We do have a small amount of physical damage present, but that is not too bad actually. I'm kind of stoked that it's on this side of the chip, so it's on the far side away from the core. Any damage that happens on this side usually is associated with damage under here. So we might be lucky with this. So if we just fix up these there's like maybe 2 traces, we'll have a better look now. We might be having quite an easy repair on this, if we're very lucky. And someone is smiling on the owner of this card. So we have 2 traces to repair under there, which is perfectly fine. It shouldn't be difficult to do. Oh yeah, so peaceful. Wow, the sound of this machine really drives me nuts. Okay. Yeah, those look like they're in place really well. A little bit of putty over there, make sure that mask is cured. Make sure that it's done. Right, so we can reball the module now, and then we'll look at getting this back on. Just gonna set the card aside for now, and we'll work on this module quick. It shouldn't take us too long. Just giving my stencil here a wipe. If you're reballing anything, it is important to work as clean as you can. No mess, no dirt, no dust. Extremely, extremely, extremely important. Okay, and then I'll just small amount of flux on this. That. I think I have too much on there. I am trying to work this under the microscope so everyone can see what I'm doing. I wouldn't normally, this is just done by eye. Okay. We can place our stencil. Just because we're trying to show what we're doing under the microscope can make our lives very difficult. Okay, so we're gonna get some balls in here now. So what I'm gonna do is just tilt this off to an angle. Try to keep the focus. And then we're just gonna pull. Right. looking good. So I can set them in place. Oh, one ball's running away there. So this is what happens if you put too much flux on. It will bubble and the balls will run away. One here that's not quite stuck. It is now. Okay, give that a moment to cool off and then we'll pull the stencil off. Beautiful. Okay, so as always, when we replace the component, we want to check the memory rail, and it's one of these 4 over here. So this is one of them right here. Where we're looking, right here. There we go. Okay, so and then checking the memory rail. 49 ohms, which is fine. That matches what we had before. And we're going to get this back on for a quick test and see if the memory modules are working. So I'm not going to assemble the card right now. I'm just going to put a cooler over the core and then we'll plug it in and see what we get. Script failed to execute. That is a good sign. So we're gonna now assemble this card since we have no problems, and we'll get it back on test. There's our driver installation. And we have a picture still, which is excellent news. And let's see how it holds in a test.